So Julez be over there beating on girls and stuff like that right there. So this content creator named Ria, I think it's Ria Jalesa, she came out telling the story time how she was with Julez and how, you know what I'm saying, that he's a
Solange, the family got involved and everybody, you know, kind of, there was some hush money going around.
You can't tell billionaires what to do. You can't at all. You can't take anything away. You can't shame them. You can't embarrass them.
So reports recently surfaced that Beyonce allegedly covered up a DV incident involving her nephew Julez. Twitch streamer Ria Jalesa accused Julez of putting his hands on her and even pointing a blick at her head during an argument. And the story is wild once you hear the details, but somehow it never made it to mainstream media. And now we're hearing that's because Beyonce allegedly got her PR team to squash the story and paint Jalesa as a liar. Now, a lot of folks are dragging Beyonce over this, but DL Hughley has a different take on it. He's saying, don't act surprised now because you made Beyonce and her husband billionaires, and this is exactly how billionaires always. They use money and power to avoid any scrutiny. But let's get into this story about Julez because it's actually crazy how out of control he is. So streamer Ria Jalesa went live recently and dropped some serious allegations. She claims she met up with Julez at a hotel in Houston, and apparently things went left real fast. According to her, he got upset over something, flipped out, and started punching her repeatedly. She even showed photos of marks and scratches all over her body.
I'm like, ain't no way you don't do drugs. So he's like, yeah, I do E's. I do E's. We're literally spooning, y'all. And then he get mad out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. This man, he like, oh, you don't want to cuddle with me? Why we talking? I don't know what I said, but he grabbed my arm and he threw me up off of him. And he was like, get off of me. He threw me off of him, and he, at this point, he's literally mad. And I'm like, what the fuck is he mad about? Like, I'm still at this point confused because I literally cannot figure out for the life of me why the fuck this nigga mad. He drops his bag on the table. He turns back around, y'all, and he start mixing on me. I kid y'all not. Start literally beating me up. Like, literally is beating me the fuck. And at this point, I blacked out. So I don't know what's going on. Why he's beating me up, I don't know what's going on. But I just know that he was punching me like all in this area, all on my body. Y'all, I had bruises every fucking where. I had bruises all over my arms. I still got a scar from him. But
it gets worse. Ria also claimed that Julez pulled a firearm out of a bag, pointed it right at her face, and tapped it against her head while making threats.
He grabbed the fucking bag. He pulled that motherfucking bag, and he pointed that in my motherfucking face, and he's tapping it on my head. Like tapping my head with the I would never that. Never that. He's tapping my head with the and yes, a big gun. But I just remember him saying, douse me in y'all know the brown hair that I had with the highlights, that's why I took that hair out, because it was covered in alcohol. I literally had to take my hair out because he poured 2 bottles of liquor over my head, gang. He got mommy problems and he got mommy issues bad, real bad. I'm not Solange. I can't help you, ho.
Now, before you accuse Ria of lying for clout, she actually tried to handle this privately at first. She asked Julez to help fix her phone that he broke during the fight and told him she wasn't going to tell anyone what happened. But then Julez flipped out again and Ria decided to go public. And to her credit, she came with receipts, including screenshots of text messages with a contact saved as Beyonce Nephew, where he's asking her, you gonna try to get me arrested? And she even challenged Julez to sue her for defamation if she's lying. On top of that, Ria is not the first woman to share a story like this about Julez. Because if you've been paying attention to this guy, you know he's been a weirdo for years. And this started when he was just a teenager. Back in 2021, when Julez was just 16, he was dating Sky Jackson, and things got really ugly. Group chats leaked where Julez was talking reckless about Sky, claiming he ruined her life and that he got revenge because she cheated on him. And by revenge, he was talking about leaking explicit videos of her. Again, Julez was just 16 at the time, and he was already doing foul stuff like that. And you know that distributing explicit videos of someone without their consent is a literal crime. But nothing happened to Julez, and that story was covered up quickly. There were even rumors that Julez's family paid Sky hush money, but that wasn't the end of of it. There were also rumors that he got arrested in Ohio around that same time on a concealed weapon charge. That part was never fully confirmed, but considering he's now been accused of pulling a piece on someone in 2026, it definitely makes you wonder if this dude has been out of control for a long time. The Sky situation was really the first time the public got a glimpse of what Julez is really like. Up until then, he was just Solange's son and Beyonce's nephew, the quiet kid in the background of family photos. But after that, people started paying attention, and he kept giving them reasons to. So that was 2021, but the drama didn't stop there. In 2022, rumors started swirling that Julez had gotten an OnlyFans model pregnant. Then, in 2024, things got even more questionable when photos resurfaced of Julez posing with a firearm and a blunt. And then there was also a rumor that he tried to pull the "my aunt is Beyonce" card to threaten someone, basically implying that he was untouchable because of his family connections. And if that's true, it explains a lot. Dude was probably raised to think he's part of the royal family and can do whatever he wants without consequences. And so far, he actually did manage to avoid consequences. And that's allegedly because Beyonce pulled strings to squash all these stories about Julez and silence his supposed victims. Think about it. Julez has been caught with firearms, caught up in a revenge porn scandal, accused of DV, and making threats to Ria's life. So where's the TMZ coverage? Why isn't Shade Room talking about this? Now, I'm not saying this is some grand conspiracy, but we are hearing that Beyonce's team is allegedly making sure that these stories about Julez don't blow up, which makes sense because if there's one thing Beyonce cares about is her public image, and she doesn't want any mess that could potentially tarnish her brand. She even put Julez in the ads for her hair care line, so the last thing she wants is for him to be exposed for putting his hands on women. And that's just how power works. Now I want to bring in DL Hughley here because he actually said something that made a lot of sense about this whole situation. Now, DL has been in entertainment for decades. He's seen how the industry works, and he's not afraid to call things out. And he said fans need to stop acting all shocked when something like this happens, because this is exactly how billionaires act. You can't even shame billionaires. They don't care about being canceled. They'll avoid scrutiny every single time. And he basically said that people need to stop acting like Beyonce is an ethical billionaire, because there's literally no such thing.
You can't tell billionaires what to do. You can't at all. You can't take anything away. You can't shame them. You can't embarrass them because they make the rules. They're in charge. So they have a certain mindset and do things a certain way. And one of them does not include being fair. It is he with the gold makes the rules. That is their golden rule.
And that's actually a really important point when we're talking about why any controversy surrounding the Carters never sticks. From Solange putting her paws on Jay-Z in that elevator, to Beyonce wearing blood diamonds and Jay-Z being named in those Diddy and Jeffrey files. Every single time, Beyonce and her family managed to avoid any real consequences. If you're worth $1 billion, you're not operating by the same rules as everybody else. You've got lawyers, publicists, private security, media connections. And when your family is at that level, that protection extends to the people around you too. DL was talking about how billionaires would rather spend $50 million on a wedding than make sure their employees can read. And while that's a whole separate conversation about wealth inequality, the point is that billionaires live in a different reality. They don't have to answer to the same standards or face the same consequences. So what can we do about it? Well, for starters, stop worshiping celebrities and treating Beyonce like a queen. Because when fans on social media start dragging Julez and asking, how is this kid getting away with all this? Well, that's exactly how. Because his family is at a level where they simply don't have to engage with that kind of scrutiny. And fans are the ones who put these people on these pedestals. So don't be shocked when they act like they're above the law, because they literally are. So now you've got Julez Smith, who is 21 years old, and he already has a long history of bad decisions, questionable behavior, and alleged DV. And yet, he's still out here living his life, flexing on social media, and facing basically zero real consequences. Why? Because his aunt is Beyonce. But let me know what you think about all this. Who's to blame that Julez turned out to be such a menace? Drop your comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.